And oh, he just knew he was going to get a whole lot of work out of them that day. And he did. But one thing Master didn't know, many times when they would be singing songs, they actually would be singing out coded messages to the rest of the slave community. So if you woke up one morning and you happen to hear them holding on to this one song all morning long, afternoon, evening time come, they still singing and humming that same song, well, you better believe that was the message. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, now wade in the water. Gods are gonna trouble, gods are gonna trouble, gods are gonna trouble the message. There was going to be an escape that night. Yeah. Or it was going to happen by, near, or through water. Or you may have heard, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Home where? To freedom. What was coming? The Underground Railroad was going to be passing through that night, and if you wanted to get on board, to get off of that plantation, you needed to get yourself ready. That was the message. Boone Plantation has been shut down for the filming of 3 movies, North and South, Queen, Alex Haley's sequel to Roots, and The Notebook. If you view any of those 3 movies, you'll see this plantation in living color. Every second weekend in November is a Civil War reenactment played out here. It is usually the Battle of Successionville. That battle actually happened on James Island in the Folly Beach area, but it's played out here every second weekend in November. And this past November was canceled, though, in memory and honor of the Emmanuel 9, those individuals that were slain on June 17th at the Emmanuel Amy Church. But it will be back on for the 2016 November season. If you're still hanging around Charleston, we have 2 awesome Gullah tours. One is called Sights and Insights. The other one is called Gullah Tours. Both awesome tours. But the plus with the Sights and Insights tour is that particular tour will also take you out to the Sea Island area where you get to see the 1,200-year-old angel oak tree, which is one of our historical landmarks. And if you're driving your own car, it's an easy drive from downtown Charleston out to the angel oak tree, so you need to check that out. Now, upon our exit in the plantation at emancipation, we left the plantation illiterate. We left not knowing how to read and write. We left the plantation not knowing where we were born or when we were born. No record kept and no record given. We left the plantation not knowing where our mothers and fathers were, sisters and brothers, grandmothers, grandfathers. Why? Because there were so many times that we were sold away from each other, traded away from each other, and many, many times taken away from your mother at birth and given or sold away. That was the plight of many of our ancestors at emancipation. So when emancipation came and we began to learn how to read and write, the Bible becomes the center part of the Gullah Geechee household. And believe it or not, some of our plantation owners, upon our exit in the plantation at emancipation, gave their newly emancipated freed slaves Bibles. Now, in Africa, when you hear them talking about the tribes and how they worship, there's a term you'll hear called animism, making reference to those tribes that worship nature. They worship a creation, not a creator. Sun, moon, stars, trees, clouds, animals. Basically, that's what we brought with us. Once we got settled in on the master's plantation, we would steal away, sneak away in the wee hours of the morning. Gullah called it 4-day clean in the morning. 4-day clean meant the hours of 2 a.m. before sunrise. They would go to the brush areas, do their circle dances, their ring shouts, their call-outs, but eventually, master found out, and that was forbidden. Eventually, many of our plantation owners began to build churches on their plantations, and eventually we were required to attend. Required? How so? Because of the encouragement of the master's clergy. They're the ones that taught us about the master's God, who then becomes our God. Problem: they didn't feel comfortable having us worship alongside them in their churches, so they built for their slaves these one-room shanties we call praise houses. The very first slave cabin you get to is a sample of a praise house. Now, most of the praise houses were wooden one-room shanties, not brick. But the praise houses were the places where the slaves were allowed to go and worship. When we left the plantation at emancipation and we went into our own communities, we did not build churches. We built praise houses, replicas of what we have on the plantation, but on a little larger scale. And they were not denominational, they were numbered. Praise house number 1 in one area, number 2, and so on. Now, beginning to learn how to read and write, the Bible becomes the center part of the Gullah Geechee household. Today, in our households, you hear us use the term, what you use for your living room term, the Gullahs call it a front room. Why? Because at one time, that's all we had.